The first step is to create a document that you identify as both being one that requires a signature and also is your photo booth contract. You can, of course, create documents which require a signature that are not your photo booth contract, but because we're showing this in how to automate the contract signing process, we're going to go ahead and do that. So we give it a name, my contract, we give it a little bit of content, contract content above, and then as you can see now there are two buttons, add signature requirement to the document and add event artwork to document. We're going to go ahead and click the add signature requirement to document. You see the photo booth operator then gives us additional options. First being, is this document your photo booth rental contract? Yes, actually this one is. And then a choice of what you would like to have happen when the user signs the document. You can either redirect to the URL of your choice, so if you have some particular page on your website that you'd like to send the user to, you can do that. Or you can present them with a message that will be in the header and footer of the actual signature form, and we'll see that later on. We're going to go ahead and do that, so we'll add a message. So it'll just be the simple thank you message and the text, and you see it displays there. You also notice, if you check down below, that in the actual body of the document, the photo booth operator has added this signature shortcode. This gives you a little bit of control insofar that the signature shortcode can be placed anywhere in your contract. A particular note here is that there is one signature per document. The signature system does not split it up across pages. You'll see this later on when it's rendered out. There's just one page for the entire contract, since it's all electronic. So now that we've got our document all ready to go, we're going to go ahead and add the document. And you'll see in our document list, we have my contract, and it identifies as containing a signature, and it is in fact a contract. The next step in the automation process is to create an email task for automating the signature of contracts. So we're going to go ahead and go over to tasks, and we're going to add an email task. We'll call this send contract. We're going to execute the task when the event is added. So as soon as the event is added, the email will be fired off to the client indicating that there is a signable contract, and we'll actually see that later on. There's also an option in the add event to make it such that the link to the contract shows up immediately. And then this is extremely useful for when you are at a wedding show or somewhere where you want to get them to sign the contract on the spot. And there's actually a separate tutorial on that. But right now we're going to continue on this. We're going to put a subject on our email. First name, last name, your contract with company name, and then we've got that we've created, and we're going to attach a contract. We're actually going to use a signable contract because it's larger. We just created one to show you how to create it. It's very key and essential that we attach this document to this email. Otherwise, no link will be sent. So after you've created your subject and you have selected which email template, it is crucial that you attach the document that you created or indicated to be your contract. We're then going to go ahead and set this task. And now let's go ahead and create an event. Now we have our client in. We'll go ahead and give a date. We're just going to pick any date because we're demonstrating this. This is where you would complete all of your adding your event information. And then you would see down at the bottom that now you have a message from the photo booth operator that the document signable contract is scheduled to be sent to the client after the event is added or updated. Now, do you wish to display the form immediately instead of sending? This is where the tutorial on doing it automatically would show up. But we're not in that right now, so we want to leave that as a no. We do, however, want to send that contract email to the event host. So now we're going to go ahead and add the event. The event has been added. Now let's go and see what the recipient's email looks like. So viewing in the emails client, you'll see that the email template we created basically says below, please find a link to your contract, and that it contains an electronic signature, and that you can sign securely. This is extremely important to note. All the links to the contracts are sent through our secure server, so you don't have to worry about having one yourself on your own website. We'll take care of that. The reason being, obviously, that we're transmitting sensitive data, and also that it will create a greater sense of confidence among your clients that they are actually signing on a secure server. You also want to use this to keep in mind if you're creating any kind of templates that use artwork, because it is going to be behind a secure area. So we're going to go ahead and hope, and obviously most will, our clients will click the link, and we'll go ahead and see what that looks like. So this is the secure form that the client sees. This is in our template, which gives the name of the contract, informs them that the form requires a signature. And then whatever contract you have, like I said, we just used our stock one here with all the information swapped out. And then you'll see at the very bottom is the actual signature area. So they are required to type their name, Joe Customer, sign. I'm using the mouse, so that's why this is ugly as can be. The tablet is obviously much more useful for this. Additionally, we have in testing found that some of our testers actually did possess the ability to use a mouse. Regardless, because these signatures with the mouse are not exactly 100% accurate or reliable, we have included this checkbox, which must be checkmarked, that says I certify this is my signature. Once again, legal department stepped in and indicated to us that this is a required step, as well as the step for typing their name. So you have basically 3 levels of authentication from the standpoint of they are required to type their name, they are required to sign their name, and they are required to certify that this is my signature. Additionally, behind the scenes, unbeknownst to them, the system will be logging their IP address, and the system will be logging the exact date and time down to the hour and minute at which they sign. So once they have typed their name, signed their signature, and certified that this is a signature, they click the signature complete, submit document link, and the photo booth operator then presents that message that you indicated. You can now go back and take a look at the, and you'll see that the photo booth operator now indicates that there are signatures on this particular event. If we were to view the event real quick, we would see that we have contract sent and contract received dates. If we had checked this before our client had signed the contract, only the contract sent date would be displayed. Back to our event, we're going to go ahead and click on the signatures, and you'll see that now it has Joe Customer, signed 9/22/13 at 2:31 p.m., their IP address, the document, and if we click the view signature, there is signature that they had indicated. We can also create a printable version of this. So if we click print, the photo booth operator generates a PDF for you to either save or print. Clicking on that, depending upon your browser, will either save or open. And you'll see, if you scroll all the way down, there's our contract with the signature, their name, and the date. And that is how you completely automate the process of sending a contract to a client, having them sign it, and then obtaining that information within the photo booth operator.